Okay, so EdTech Dialect, the power of the PowerPoint recording tab, and also a little bit on lecture capture. I'm going to spend this time going over setting up the recording tab. I'm also going to talk about why it exists, what it can do, all the capabilities, and how it might apply to your life in the classroom, if that's what you do, or do you give presentations that you need to share out to individuals that might not be able to make a presentation? In that case, the recording tab really can come up big for you and make your life a whole lot easier. As we saw with Heather, it's not available on a Mac yet, so that kind of stinks if you're a Mac user. But hopefully they have something in the works soon so that all users can adapt to this and make this work in their PowerPoint. Moving right along. What's a recording tab? Is introduced in PowerPoint 2016, gives users the ability to go even further with interactive elements like quizzing. It takes into PowerPoint the functionality of Microsoft Forms. So it allows you to set up quizzes, surveys, quick polls and stuff like that if you wanted to do anything like that. As you can see from the slide here, it allows you to do audio narration to your slides. So a lot of you like to post your lectures to the web. It will allow you to go through slide by slide and record narration. Now, the beautiful thing about this, and you'll see this a little bit later, is it actually allows you, as you're recording, if you screw up on slide 16 out of 34, you don't have to go back and re-record the whole presentation. You can just go back to slide 16, delete the recording from it, whether it's video and or audio, and just re-record that specific slide. And so in that case, it makes it very efficient for you as you're trying to get your recordings out there. And you can see that there's plenty of other options that you can do. We can import screen recordings, both video and snapshots. You can also, if you want to just put a slide, you can pinpoint that specific slide that you might want to talk about and add audio just to that slide. In addition to that, you can annotate. So as you're talking, you can highlight different items within your presentation, and I'll show you that as well. And lastly, it makes it very easy to share, whether you want to share out your presentation for your users to view as a video, or maybe you want them to be able to take the quiz questions within your presentation. You can actually export as just a PowerPoint as well. On to the next slide. So how can it be used? Well, a lot of different ways. Obviously, we are focusing on online lecture and short videos associated with your PowerPoint. But you also have the ability, if you wanted to do like a training video, you can think of this as just recording your slides, but you can also think of it as, you can use this as a screen recording, or screen recorder, excuse me. And so if you just wanted to do a quick video of yourself presenting something, talking about something, whatever it is that you can come up with, you can do that in here. Maybe you just want to send out a quick quiz in the form of a PowerPoint with some instructions on it, some video instructions. That is something that you can do using the recording tab as well. So enough of that talk. How do we get it to show up? Okay. So you can see it on my screen right here. This is what the recording tab looks like. It places a tab, as I'm talking about, onto your ribbon. And to get that, you're going to have to actually add that. Okay. And so you're going to go to the backstage area or the file area in PowerPoint. And down at the bottom, you're going to see options. You're going to click on that. And that should bring up a pop-up window. And on that pop-up window, you're going to see a sidebar. And one of the options is customize ribbon. Now, once that loads, down towards the bottom on the second checkbox area, you should see a recording tab. Okay. Yours probably is not checked if you haven't added it yet. I have, obviously, so it is checked. Okay. So if it's not and you'd like to add it, go ahead and check that. And once you've done that, click OK. And at that point, you should see the recording tab on PowerPoint. If for some reason it doesn't show up, it's not a bad idea to close PowerPoint and open it back up. If at that point it still doesn't work, obviously you can try and go back to those options and see if the checkbox took an effect. A lot of times you might check the box but forget to hit OK. That's a common mistake. And just walk through that again. If for some reason it still doesn't work, obviously contact the MCC service desk and they can definitely help you out with that because they helped me out plenty of times. Okay, so let's take a moment to dig into the different features here. First things first, obviously, is the option to record a slideshow. So when we click on this button, it's going to give us an option, or two options, I should say. We can start recording from the current slide. You might notice I'm on slide number 4 right now. So if I just wanted to put a voice recording or some annotations onto that specific slide, I could go in and do that right from there. Okay. If I wanted to do a recording on all of my different slides, obviously I would choose record from the beginning. Regardless of what you choose, once this window opens up, you can navigate to the slide that you want to use. Options here. So, like I said, if I wanted to go through to that slide that I was on, oops, there it is. Okay, I could just start recording here and be done recording here, and only have my recording on that one slide. All right. A little bit more about what you see here. Obviously, first and foremost, you see the option to start your recording. We'll come back to that. But for those of you that use speaker notes in PowerPoint, those are available for you right here. You might notice that it comes onto your screen here and takes over. That won't be apparent. You won't be able to see that in your recording. Okay, that's only for you in this recording area to see what you're trying to talk about. All right, so that can be very helpful. All I had to do to get that to appear was click on it, and the same can be said about making it disappear. Once I get all my recordings, if I wanted to get rid of recordings, or if, like I said, on slide 16, which I don't have 16 slides, so we'll have to make do with slide 6. Let's say I wanted to record the narration that was on there, or delete the narration that was on there. Okay, if I had one, I could clear it on just that current slide. Okay, which I said was a very nice feature. Before we get into recording, one thing that you're going to want to check is your settings. All right, you're going to want to make sure that if you want to be visible, as you can see from this picture here on this sample, you can actually show your face while you're recording. If you wanted video of yourself on there, and in that case, you have the option to select a camera to use. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the Surface camera here. Here I am. And so you can actually see me when I am doing my recording. This will show up on your presentation. If you decide after the fact that you don't want video of yourself on your presentation, you can always go back on your PowerPoint and delete each individual video portion of it if you wanted to. Another very important part of this is your microphone. Make sure you have a working microphone. I'd advise you as you're setting this up and as you're doing your test run with it, to do exactly that, a test run to make sure that your audio works. I would hate for you to go all the way through your presentation and realize it's just your lips moving and there's no sound. All right. So one, make sure you have a microphone, you've selected a microphone that's going to work. And two, make sure you test it on a couple slides first and play it back just to make sure that it is picking up on your audio. Down below here, we have more audio options, making sure that you do have your mic on and off. It's very obvious if your mic is off. Okay, and I just selected it off for the recording. Obviously, it's not off for this presentation, but just for if I were to record here within the recording tab. Additionally, we can turn off the camera if we don't want ourselves to show up. We can have our camera on as well, but we can also choose, even though it's recording us right now, it's not showing us a sample in case we wanted to make use of our full canvas here. All right. Lastly, as far as all the different features here, you can see all of these colors down below. I mentioned you have the ability to annotate. You truly do have the ability to draw on your screen. Now, if I had my stylus out, this would be a whole lot neater. Maybe not a whole lot neater, but it would just be neater. But you do have the ability to circle, highlight, and add annotation to items as you're presenting. One piece of information that is important, if you have Mac users, they're not going to be able to see those annotations. So another strike against Mac. Come on, Mac. Or maybe come on, Microsoft, and start making more things available for Mac. I don't know. So those are some of the features. Obviously, you can see how long you've spent in recording. So if I go ahead and start my recording, we're going to get a prompt here, and I can go ahead and start talking. You can see that my counter is starting to roll, and it's going to tell me what slide I'm on. If I wanted to go through and add some emphasis, I could do that, and I'm done talking now, so I'm going to go to my next slide, and you can see that the counter resets, and I am off and running. I have a master counter here, which keeps track of the entire presentation, and I have per slide. Okay. If I wanted to incorporate video into this, I just did that, and now I'm on to my next slide. and we're still talking. All right. So that gives you a pretty good idea of how easy it is to record your presentation. When I'm completed, obviously I didn't go through all my slides, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit stop. And it's going to go ahead and save all that. I can watch it back from here. At this point, I can decide if I want to clear any recordings and redo them. And if I'm happy with what I see, I just click on this X and it will take me to my presentation. You can see that those annotations are there. The video is there. If I want to play it back, I can do that from here. Yeah, you're not going to be able to hear it because I'm hogging the audio. But you get an idea of how easy it is. I don't like that, so I can get rid of it just by hitting the delete key. Okay, and you can see that all of those different recordings are there. All right. Maybe I want to have one of these recordings take up the whole slide. I can resize this as I see fit. Or I could take it and maybe I decided I want that audio to be there, but I don't want the video to be there. And I can just drag that out of the picture. Okay. And then my audience won't see it, but it will all still be there. Moving along. There's also some other features that we can add in. I mentioned having the ability to do quizzing or incorporating forms into your PowerPoint. One word of advice for any of these items that you're going to add in here. Okay, you see the forms, the screenshots, screen recording, video, and audio. Maybe not so much audio, but you're going to need to create a new slide for that because otherwise it's just going to put those items over top of your current slide. So if you wanted to add a quiz in here, you're going to want to go back to your home tab, throw a new slide on there, go back to your recording tab, and from there, once you click on forms, it's going to access your forms area in your Office 365 account. Okay, so you can see from this, it's bringing up all the past forms that I have created as something that I can use. I created a sample one already for this presentation, but you could also create a new form or generate a new quiz from that. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert the one that I've already made. And just like that, it will put the quiz right there into the presentation. Now, something that you need to be aware of is these quizzes will not work, and I'll talk more about this in a second, if you export to video. These quizzes are only going to work for you if you share your PowerPoint presentation as a PowerPoint presentation, because obviously it's tough to click on a radio button in a video. So that's a little word of advice. When students take the quiz, as you can see, there's a little note at the top. The owner, which is me, will be able to see whoever submitted their name and their email. So obviously that's very important if you're trying to do some quick, get some quick summative or formative feedback from a lecture that you're doing, making sure people are paying attention. So if you don't want that there, or if you need to change that, it's very easy to do. Like I said, if you want to add a new quiz or add a new form, when you click on this, it will take you to your Forms 365 environment, so you can set that up. If you do a quiz, it's going to give you point value options. It's also going to give you the ability to obviously select what the right answer or the wrong, or not the wrong answer, but you're going to be able to select what the right answer is and set that up much like you would expect to see in a quiz.
Kevin?
Yes.
If you put a quiz in here and you have 5 questions periodic through, do you get one email with how they got out of 5 at the end?
Correct. And you can set your point value too. So if you wanted each question to be worth like 3 points, you could do that as well. If you wanted one question to be 3 points and one question to be 1 point, you could do that. I don't know if you'll get an email, but you can go to your forms area and see the results. So you can generate new forms from this area. If I click on this, I'm going to have to just go through the login process, which I don't really want to take the time to do right now. But I can stop and show you more about forms. I wouldn't use these for obviously long drawn out quizzes, but maybe more just to get some quick feedback. Maybe you don't even enter this stuff into the grade book, but you just have them take the quiz just to make sure that they're diving into the information a little bit more. You know, you can do this for trainings as well. It doesn't just have to be something for the classroom. So that's an option for that. Much like adding a form, you know, for adding a screenshot, we have to keep the same thing in mind. When we add a screenshot, it will try and add it over any current slide we have up, which is fine if that's where you want it to go. Another thing with adding a screenshot or a screen recording and all those things is you're going to want to make sure that whatever is behind PowerPoint is what you're going to want to take the screenshot of. So for example, if I wanted to get a screenshot of MCC's webpage, I wouldn't want my file explorer to be showing up first. Okay, I want to go ahead and set that so it's the next thing behind PowerPoint. I go ahead and click on screenshot. I go to screen clipping, and just like that, I have the ability to grab a screen grab and drop that right here into the presentation. And I didn't take my own advice there and create a new slide. So I'll go ahead and do that. Go back to the recording tab, click on screenshot, do my screen clipping all over again. There we go. And it should drop it right there. There it is. Okay. Very, very similar with video. If I want to do a screen recording, okay, I could do that as well. And you're going to see that you have screen recording options here. So when you're ready to roll, you just hit record, say what you want to say, demonstrate what you need to demonstrate. And once you're done, if you hover over this area because this thing will disappear. Actually, I'll just show you. Oops, I got to select my screen area that I want to use to record. And once I hit record, it's going to give me the countdown. The recording tab is big on countdowns, as you can see. They make sure you're ready. And now it's recording right now. Okay, so when I'm done talking and giving them all the good news, I know that there's a keyboard shortcut that I can use, but I just move my mouse up to the top here and that drop down box comes back. I hit stop and that will bring that right into my presentation. And there's that video right there. Back to the recording tab, a couple more items. If you had a video that you had recorded already, so maybe you use your phone to record a video, you could upload it to your OneDrive and then you could go grab it from your OneDrive account right here and bring that video in if you had a pre-recorded option. And also if you wanted to just do an audio recording and you had something that was pre-recorded, you want to bring it in, same thing is true here, only obviously it's audio, only audio instead of video. Like I said, if you want to bring in a pre-recorded video of just yourself, like on video, you're going to want to do that ahead of time with your smartphone, and that's pretty simple to do. Lastly, sharing. Obviously, that's very important. I mentioned that you have different options for that. If you incorporated quizzing, you're going to want to make sure that you save it as a show. What they mean by show is like a PowerPoint presentation. So if you're sharing it with a class and you want them to take those quizzes or take part in a survey that you might have added through forms, obviously that's the way that you're going to want to share it. If you want your students just to be able to, or whoever it is viewing it, to view it from maybe a mobile device or just view it as a video, then you have a couple different options. If you want to add it to like ARC, then you could export it to video. If you want to add to YouTube, obviously that's the route you would take as well. It'll export it as an MP4 file. Or if you want to just publish it directly to your Microsoft Stream account, you could do that with a one-click right here with the Publish to Stream option. So that's pretty much it as far as the recording tab goes, as far as the different features. It's very simple. It's very to the point. Obviously, once you get the correct version added to your PowerPoint instance, there's a couple of things to keep in mind as far as sharing out your presentation. And primarily right here, you can see that Mac, the inking options, the annotation options that I was talking about, it's not going to work, which kind of stinks. Additionally, there's some support for mobile applications, but you can see right here they don't have the ability to take the quizzes or polls from the mobile app. Okay, but they can certainly view and listen to your presentation if you don't have the quizzes and stuff like that involved with it. I think I pretty much covered it all, but if you have any questions or follow-up items, or if you want me to sit down with you and kind of work it through with you, I'm available to do that. Next week's EdTech Dialect, we're going to focus on this very Teams app that we're using right here and how you can put it to use, not just in a classroom, but also for any sort of meetings. Maybe you're having a department meeting. I know that yesterday for the Online Education Committee meeting, we had the option to view it virtually, and two to try to do it. But I told him that we were providing lunch, and just like me, that was too much to resist. So he joined us in person. But if you have people that are off campus and you don't want to make them drive to campus for a meeting, putting the Teams app to use is definitely a whole lot more convenient than making the drive, especially on a day when we have roads that are in the condition that they're in currently. So thank you for joining me. Looking forward to next week. And like I said, if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me.